This is Anarchast.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Anarchast with Anarchy on the Internet. We're at Vancouver at the Resource Investment Conference, and we're continuing on with Young, Beautiful Female Anarchists Week, which is now turned into a month. And I'm trying to actually just interview only young, beautiful female anarchists from now on, if I can. And there seems to be no shortage of supply. And I'm here with old friend, Katrina Chowne. She's the leader of the Canadian Libertarian Party. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
First question I ask everybody, how did you become an anarchist?
Right, so this takes me back a while. This takes me to 2001, and that's when I actually had the label given to me, and so I realized what I was. But before that, I was still interested in politics and government, not in any sadistic way, but just interested in like the numbers and the polling and the different parties. In 2001, I was old enough to vote. That was part of it, and so I went online, and I was really excited, and something magical happened, which was Mark Emery had a political party in BC called the BC Marijuana Party. And up until then, I was politically homeless because I agreed with the personal freedoms of the left, the economic freedoms of the right, but I didn't understand that there was a party there for me. Now, Mark Emery's party was the Marijuana Party, and it was choices, options, tolerance was their motto. I thought, this is great. So I sent him off an email, still 2001, very early internet kind of getting used to things for getting your information out there on the internet. And I said, hey, who do I vote for? And he said, we don't have anyone in your area, would you run for us? And this threw a curveball at me, right? Never considered it. So to make a long story short, I ran for the BC Marijuana Party. One of the guys running the show, he said, oh, you sound like a libertarian, and I didn't know what that was. He said, here's Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. So really it does begin with Ayn Rand for me. I read all of her stuff. And then there's a Libertarian Party in BC, so I met up with them. And then they told me about the provincial or the federal Libertarian Party. So I've run for the federal party once, the provincial party once, and then also the BC Marijuana Party.
Wow.
And then fast forward 10 years, and I decided to get involved at the board level.
Wow, moved up fast. And whatever happened to Mark Emery? I know there's quite a story there.
Yeah, it's a really sad story. It's probably one of the saddest stories to come out of Canada in the last 10 years. He's down in Mississippi, in Yahoo, Mississippi, I think it is, federal penitentiary. I don't know how much longer he's there for, but he took a plea bargain and made sure that the other two people that were accused with him spared jail time. So,
what was he accused of?
So, interesting story because Canada Post was the one actually allowing the seeds to be transported in the packages. He was selling seeds, and all of his money went philanthropy, right? It went down and supported Proposition 8 in California to legalize marijuana. He just gave all his money away. He started a magazine, Cannabis Culture. But yeah, he's accused of marijuana laundering in the States. And this is in the States too. He didn't step foot in the States, but the Americans decided to go after him. They told the Canadians to do so. They came up here and they extradited him to the States.
Yeah, the U.S. government actually came here, didn't they? Like on Canadian soil and took him.
Yeah.
It's just
they're allowed to now, I think, with the different laws in place, but back then it was actually not really allowed. Not that makes a difference.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, so that tells a lot of people, it's kind of dangerous living in these areas, Canada and the U.S., because of that, especially if you're going to be really outspoken about things like marijuana or anarchy. Or
the reason why they went after him is because he was trying to influence American politics. That's really, at the end of the day, what it was.
Terrible. Well, I hope he gets out, and I hope there's probably ways to kind of support him. Do you know of any ways to do that?
I think there's a website, freemarkemery.com, and he blogs, and there's a bunch of different ways. I think he even his wife does podcasts, possibly. She's on Twitter. So there's many number of ways to support him.
Okay, and we'll find those websites. We'll put in the notes down below, and please support him. That's just an unbelievable story.
Yeah.
But let's talk about something a little happier. Libertarian Party of Canada. How's it been going?
It's been going great. Yeah, I took the leadership role in May 2011, and ever since then we've really tried to build up the organization, get some vertical going, some horizontal going, and it's been quite a process, but I've met some really good people in the process, and I think we're going to do really well in 2015, which is the next general election in Canada.
2015, yeah, I don't pay attention to the... That's going to be my next question. When
What's
is
2015?
Yeah. And so is there any Libertarian Party people who have been elected in the past?
Not under the party banner of Libertarian, but there can be the argument made that there's a few Libertarians in Parliament. They would be found under the Conservative Party. I don't know if you would get those MPs to agree that they're Libertarian.
Yeah, who wants to go right out there and say they don't believe in violence and theft, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It would be great if we could get them to come over and support a true Libertarian Party, but you know, we're on our way there. We're not quite there yet, but we're certainly headed in the right direction.
That's great. And so have you seen, you say it's headed in the right direction, have you seen that things are picking up? Are you seeing more people getting interested in this sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely. More memberships, more people coming in and becoming members, more involvement on our Facebook forum page, and more people personally emailing me saying, hey, what can I do to get involved? What do you need? And there's definitely more excitement, and there's also a lot of more people in the party to be able to accommodate those requests of help, and how can we help them help us.
That's great. Well, I know you're in a bit of a rush. You just had a newborn baby 2 months ago, and he eats every hour, you tell me.
Yeah.
But why don't you tell people how they can support the Libertarian Party of Canada?
Yeah, well, go to the website, become a member. You can become a non-voting member or a paying member. Through that, you'll find out how to get in touch with our newsletter and how to get onto Twitter and YouTube and all these different accounts that are a little small right now, but I think by the time 2015 comes around, we'll be a pretty robust party.
Great. And what's the website?
Libertarian.ca.
Okay, so get out there, all you Canadians, Canucks, get out there and support the Libertarian Party of Canada. And, you know, it's kind of odd being anarchists and actually being involved in election process, but
It's true. I have an argument for that.
Yeah. Do you? What's your argument?
Well, I mean, there's actually a number of different ways that you can approach it. The one that I was thinking about actually before talking to you is that I've had an opportunity to speak to other libertarians who are involved in political parties around the world. So there's a lot of stuff happening in Europe and a lot of stuff happening in South America that, you know, because I represent a political party, they're contacting the political party in Canada. So the type of people that we're contacting, right, is more of a worldwide reach. Whereas I don't think I would have had that had I just come out onto YouTube and said, hey, I'm a libertarian, talk to me, right? So my contact list is very diverse that way. And I think it's really exciting to have that kind of worldwide contact list, especially if, I mean, you talk about how the dollar's going to collapse, many people talk about how that's going to happen, and we don't really know what the society's going to look like after that. And I think it's very valuable to have that kind of network, and I'm sure you do have that kind of world network as well. But for myself, this was it made sense for me to go approach it at a political sense, and obviously I've always had that kind of interest intuitively as a young child. So it just seemed natural for me to get involved in a utilitarian argument. I looked at how can I best help libertarianism, right? And I'm no Jeff Berwick. I'm not going to go down to Acapulco and start all these amazing programs that you've started, and passports and whatever else. And I'm not like a Jeffrey Tucker. I'm not going to start laissez-faire books. But you know what, from Vancouver, considering the lifestyle that I have right now, politics is something that I actually can do.
That's great, and it's sort of the Ron Paul model.
Yes.
You know, I don't know if Ron Paul's an anarchist or not, but most of his thinking is very anarchist, and a lot of anarchists get carried away with like, well, we should never be involved in the political process. You know, we need to do everything at every single level. We need to attack from every single level to try to get some sort of freedom in this world. This is an incredibly unfree world we live in right now in the Western world, with all the laws and regulations and taxes. And so definitely support what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's all about being a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And if we just keep on talking to libertarians and anarchists, many people still don't know what a libertarian is. I constantly, you know, people say, oh, what do you do for a living? And I say, I'm the leader of the Libertarian Party. And they go, oh, is that like a liberal? You know? So there's a huge amount of education that can be done to people who are willing to listen to the political argument, not the apolitical argument.
Totally. So get out there if you're in Canada, support Katie, Katrina, whatever, to do anything you can. I really think to get involved with what she's doing here in Canada would be excellent. If I was here in Canada, I would.
Thanks,
So check out her website, and that's it from Vancouver. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. So that's Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. Peace. love, and anarchy.